Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The Honourable Minister looks resplendent in red. The spirit of Hanuman Jayanti is obviously in her pronouncement. The problem is she's moving with kumbaya, and maybe if the Honourable Minister of Public Administration had been put in charge of this situation, we would not be here, because she would have, as she stated, communicated, discussed, and not gone out on a war path against an independent office holder, using the precincts of the Parliament and safety of parliamentary privilege to attack an office holder, to talk and read out pre-action protocol letters, to state their case. But there was one problem with the Honourable Minister's position. Ignorance is bliss, because the only side that she knows is what she has been told, and she's not fully aware of all of the information. Because when you read both sides and you gather information, you would see that while the government and the Minister of Finance talk about this $2.58 billion, there's really $3.379 billion missing that the PNM government cannot account for. $780 million, not a word of that. Wow. Not talking about documentation, but we come in the Senate and we come in the Parliament, and we talk about an office holder refusing to meet and refusing, stating categorically. And when you hear the other side, there is no such thing. Furthermore, this debate, Mr. Vice President, could have been very short, very simple. It could have been Section 24(1) and Section 25(1) of the Exchequer and Audit Act. Could have been very short, pristine, quiet. But then the Honourable Minister of Finance got emotional. I've never seen it in all the years. And he extended debate. He opened up debate. He went on the war path against the office holder, like the PNM's Napoleonic Minister of Finance. And he opened debate to all forms and fashion. So why did the government not just come and say, we made an error, we apologize. We need time to find the documentation for the $3.79 billion that we would like to put in the accounts, so that the deficit doesn't swell, because we have election and we were telling you all everything is nice, the economy is booming, the deficit is being managed, we are coming down and bringing down the budget deficit, and then boom, the whole thing opens up and money missing. This could have been an easy, simple debate, but the Honourable Minister went into all realms, and as a responsible member of the opposition, I must respond to the erstwhile Minister of Finance.
Senator Roberts, just as a point of clarification, the statement made before the debate was separate and apart. Okay.
Yeah, you know, I hear a long time, right? I'm not dealing with that statement. I'm dealing with the 44 minutes and 35 seconds of the minister's contribution. So let's get going, because my time is short. He brought in politics, the Honourable Minister brought in. He brought in that the PNM does not want to control the Office of the Auditor General. He spoke about untruths and truths. He spoke about documentation being available. He spoke about the process. He spoke about dates and deadlines, January 31st, March 25th, April 31st.
Point of order, 46-1. This never happened. This is totally irrelevant. Senator Roberts. Senator Roberts. Senator Roberts. Senator Roberts, I'm on my legs. Let's just see. Keep it relevant and keep it to what was debated and what was laid in the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Or maybe the honourable member does not recall what he said, but I sat here and I took copious notes of every word that came out of his mouth. He also went on to talk about public servants, and he praised some public servants while attacking others. There are good public servants and others who are not worthy of praise. He talked about UNC lawyers. He talked about insinuations about the actions of the Auditor General and implied mens rea in what necessitated or what proved or put forward her actions. He spoke about a pre-action protocol letter that he has received, and he was very pained that it was hurting him that he received a pre-action protocol letter. He spoke about the central bank and the central bank governor and dollar bills, $100 bills, and who decided to open up. Yes, if you didn't pay attention, so I pay very close attention to the Honorable Minister. He spoke about the Treasury being involved and the Budget Department of the Ministry of Finance. He spoke about previous ministers of finance and what they did. The process and theory of audit and accounting, the minister spoke about. He spoke about technology versus old school. Technology with pictures of checks as opposed to batching and all of that. This is what the minister spoke about. He spoke about freedom law chambers, and the PNM members were talking about UNC lawyers and what they are UNC lawyers and why the Auditor General gone for a UNC lawyer. If UNC lawyers happen to be good, when you're under pressure and you're under attack from powerful forces, you need the best lawyer. So if Anand Ramlogan and Freedom Law Chambers is the best attorneys, you have to get the best. If you have, unfortunately, an aneurysm or something, you want the best neurosurgeon. So I don't see what the PNM is afraid of Freedom Law Chambers like that. I mean, Freedom Law Chambers never had a senior counsel go in a court of foreign jurisdiction and say he's not a senior counsel. Freedom Law Chambers never forgot to put in a defense and lost a case up to $3 million. Freedom Law
Point
Chambers
of order,
never
Mr.
lost.
Vice President. Standing Order 46-1. None of this is relevant.
Standing order upheld. Keep the arguments to be debated.
Mr. Vice President, if the Honorable Leader of Government Business thinks that his Minister of Finance is irrelevant, I agree with him, but this is what was stated by the Honorable. I'm responding to the Honorable Minister of Finance in this debate in this House, and that is what debate is about. So he also, the Freedom House Law Chambers under Anand Ramlogan never advised a government that an indemnity, an illegal indemnity, was legal until it was not.
Point
he
of
never
order.
did that.
46-1. This is a extending timeline.
Senator Roberts. Senator Roberts, this is not a debate about that. It is on a motion 24-1, 24-5, extension of time. Reel it in, please.
So, thank you, sir. I know that you would be well aware that the debate began on a narrow 24-1 and 25C, but the Honorable Minister of Finance opened debate in all areas, and once the debate is open, I am within my rights to debate that minister. That's what it's called. This is just yet another example, and that's why they want to stand up now on standing orders. I sat there quietly as they cast aspersions on everybody, on UNC, on opposition, on the Auditor General, on lawyers, and I sat there quietly. Now they're getting nervous because they can't find the money. Where the money gone? Where the 780 million gone? This is just another pellucid example of the dangers of electing a tyrannical, oppressive, corrupt PNM
Point
regime.
of order.
Citizens.
46-1. And what's the other one? The offensive language? Language, the other one. Irrelevant, imputing improper motives.
In the spirit of debate, whilst you do respond, Tone, you should know.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The Honorable Minister of Finance said that these motions are not to try to control the Auditor General. I am here to debate that point made by the Honorable Minister of Finance. And in fact, I put it to him that it is to control. And if he needs to go and check his Hansard, I request the Hansard of the Minister of Finance be given to him for him to read what he said for himself. Because I am putting it to you that the PNM is in fact trying to control another independent office. The mere fact that we are actually now debating the office of the Auditor General. I have never seen.
This motion is about extension of time in Section 24 and Section 25 of the Exchequer and Audit Act.
Senator Mark. Senator Mark. Silence, please. Silence, please. Senator Roberts, as much as you believe you are responding, I ask that the tone and the relevance be upheld. Yes, sir.
Vice President, because not only did the Minister of Finance said that they did not want to control, the Honourable Minister of Public Utilities just spent 8 minutes saying that the PNM just wants good accounts. They want nice accounts. They don't want to control anybody. They just want the process to go ahead. I am saying that that is not true, and I'm going to show that this has been the methodology and the DNA of the PNM to control independent institutions. Just let me remind you, as you are a member of that party and others, that this is the government that locked up Okasi Paul because she didn't do as they wished. So that is control of an independent.
Senator Roberts, you're really going outside the realm of the motion. You're going outside the realm of the motion. I ask that you keep it relevant, please. So the motion at hand.
Let us go to the Constitution, Section 116. Let's read it a little bit because it's quite clear, and the Honourable Minister said in trying to criticize the Honourable Senator Wademark that they should expand ALTA. I suppose he don't remember he said that too. But let me say that I don't require ALTA at this time, but I will read the Constitution.
Point of order. 46.1, that's irrelevant. I have not yet responded to Senator Wademark. It's impossible.
Senator Mark, members, manager. Right, hold a second. Senators on both sides, I am on my legs. Senator Roberts, it was the use of English that was misconstrued there. But the words were mentioned. Proceed.
Thank you. I know it. I know the job. Can I have some protection, please, Mr. Vice President? First time in my life I ask him, please protect me from these PNM. Protect me from them. I'm trying.
Standing Order 46.1. The words of the Minister of Finance. I'm moving a point of order, Mr. President.
Senator Leiter. Senator Mark, I said it was use of English, of how it was phrased. The minister said that he did not say it in that manner because he did not respond. It is... One moment.
46.1, the member is misconstruing the words of the Minister of Finance, which were uttered in his capacity. May I finish, Mr. President?
Remember how this works. When there's a point of order, everyone listens to the senator on his legs. See?
Those words were uttered by the Minister of Finance in his capacity as acting Minister of Energy in responding to a question, not during this debate. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Roberts, keep it relevant to what was debated, not what was previously stated.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. They jumpy over there. That's all right. Okay? Don't worry. The Constitution, Section 116(4). The Auditor General shall submit his or her reports annually to the Speaker, the President of the Senate, and the Minister of Finance shall. The President of the Senate and the Speaker shall cause the report to be laid before the Senate. In Section 116(6), in the exercise of his functions under this Constitution, the Auditor General shall not be subject to direction or control of any other
Point of order.
Or authority.
Point of order. 46.1. This is a debate on a motion with respect to two sections of the Exchequer and Audit Act. And the senator cannot be responding to me because I did not refer to any of those constitutional provisions. I referred to the 24 and 25 of the Exchequer and Audit Act, which is what this motion is all about. He is being irrelevant. 46.1.
Senator Ma. Please, Mr. Roberts, proceed with caution.
Mr. Vice President, the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Minister of Public Administration and the PNM position is that they do not want to control the Auditor General. They just want to get the correct accounts, as all of us do for our beloved country, Trinidad and Tobago. And one of the arguments made by both ministers is that the separation of powers does not mean that we cannot talk. The Honorable Minister of Finance said that different office holders can talk, can meet, can share information. That is fine. That is fantastic. But what they cannot do is direct, coerce, bully, threaten, or try to cause pre-action protocol letters. The very minister, a man who is very experienced in this politics and who may have received many pre-action protocol letters, he was ruffled by the Freedom Chamber's protocol, pre-action protocol. He was speaking about how the Adhan Ram Logan and the UNC lawyers are trying to bully them and to push them in a corner, and was even speaking about how could the Auditor General go to a UNC lawyer. But it does not use the same argument when a government...
46-1.
Senator Roberts, please come to that point swiftly.
The point is very clear, and if the honorable members could relax and don't jump up and down. If they had spent that time running up and down looking for the paperwork for the 3.6 billion, we wouldn't be here. They ain't talk about the billion that's missing. They only stopping me from talking. I'm responding. Separation of powers. The PNM is trying to redefine separation of powers, that they could talk. Of course you can talk. You cannot instruct. You do not threaten with pre-action protocol letters. Even the Honorable Independent Senator was confused because the Auditor General should be able to go to the Honorable Attorney General for advice. But they were so busy threatening and throwing pre-action protocol at her that he could not advise her because he had already taken a position against her. Against the kumbaya, against the great accounts, because the fact of the matter is that a grave error was made. They are referring to $3.79 billion as if it was two dynamite that slip out this envelope, out this pocket. They keep talking about a little mistake. And it was just on a date in January. And then they found out. No, absolutely not. I don't give leave, and I do not recognize you at all. Please, don't interrupt me. What is it?
It is okay if you don't give leave, but you cannot confer disrespect onto another member. Continue, please.
Room 201, at least I passed my exams without $500,000. Yes. But I will now quote from an Honorable Attorney General, and I'm going to show that the DNA of the PNM, as they need to keep interrupting, the DNA of the PNM has always been to control independent institutions. If you love your country and you want to do a good job, checks and balances are okay, that's great, do it properly, but not the PNM. Throughout their history, anybody who disagrees or tries to follow the law is met with the wrath of the PNM. I read a quote here from a PNM Attorney General. It's beautiful. It was the Honorable Keith Sobian, may he rest in peace. Brilliant individual. August 5th, 1995. And the Honorable Attorney General in the other place said, the government, the PNM, is committed to maintaining our democracy, which is founded on the principle that the elected members of Parliament must uphold the Constitution and the law. It is no part of our tradition that any person or group of persons, whether elected or not, should seek to control or overturn our Parliament and other democratic institutions.
Point of order.
Any such...
46-1. Totally irrelevant.
Senator Roberts, you're speaking about a time that's way before this occurrence and this motion. Please be current. with your argument, please.
Thank you, sir. Well, under this government, we don't have current because TNTech not operating. However, to bring context to a debate when we are dealing with the power position of the government of Trinidad and Tobago, trying to use heavy-handed tactics to try to cover up and cook the books and chunky the books for $3.6 billion missing.
What is imputing improper motives?
Yes, 46.6.
46.6, 46.1. This has nothing to do with the motion to extend the time.
Senator Roberts, the relevance is for questioning. I ask you to bring it in and keep current, please.
All right, there's no member over there who could rattle me. I am debating the Honorable Minister of Finance. Yes, he's getting on in age and his skills are diminishing, but I am still debating him. So he has to grab for protection. The point is that the PNM is saying that this is just a motion to extend. And my position and the UNC's position is, if that was so, then why you didn't just come and extend? Why you had to go and give an attack with pre-action protocol? Come and say that the Auditor General refused to accept information when in fact she did, and she could not find the substantiation or the substantiating document for the money. So you want all the independent senators, they want real accounts. Well, real accounts require bills, require invoices, require paperwork. And if the paperwork is not there, then like the Honorable Minister of Public Administration, the money is floating in the sky. It does not exist. And if it does not exist, no PNM could force the Auditor General to say it exists. Where the money gone? So,
Point of order.
So
Point of order. 46.1, 46.6, and 53.1b as well. Tedious repetition.
Senator Roberts, in making your contribution as your time is going, but please try not to be repetitive. Yes?
Repetitive, I'm trying to make my point if they keep jumping up like they're doing squats. Anyway, healthy lifestyle is very good. Exercise is good. So, in quoting from a PNM Attorney General about the separation of powers, about independent office holders, we are here with the government using all its might and all its power, the power of the executive, to attack and wage war against an office holder who nobody knew before. I didn't even know if the Auditor General was a man, woman, child. I didn't know anything. But it's only when the PNM decides to attack this human being, after the PNM makes the error, you know. They make the error, but I never hear error talk so slow, so soft. The Minister of Finance, well, an error was seen. It wasn't seen by me. And then the Honorable Minister of Finance does the incredible. In a simple letter, where any reasonable person reading it and knows that it's not the minister who places accounts, the minister does not do accounts, the minister does not collaborate with the Treasury and so on, how could anyone interpret MOF as the Minister of Finance? Only someone trying to create mischief would do that, because it's the Ministry of Finance. The ministry, public servants, the officials there could not account. They gave in their accounts on January 31st, and $3.79 billion was unaccounted for. They then said, oops, we found this. Now, the minister said he didn't know anything about it, but by the Constitution...
Point of order, 53.1b. Tedious, extremely tedious repetition.
I know he's tired. I know he's tired of being wrong. He's tired of being a failure. He's tired of being the worst Minister of Finance in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. He's tired of acting as Prime Minister because he's Prime Minister.
Senator Roberts, you may believe you've gotten my protection. However, you do not need to hurl insults. Keep your contribution succinct and senatorial, please.
Thank you, sir. I will not cuss down the place like our senator over there, sir. I am just saying this Minister of Finance, his track record is woeful. That's fact. That's not an insult. He's just not good. That's all. But when we go to the PNM, they said, and in the debate here, they don't want to control. The Attorney General back in 1995 said, we don't want our control, we want democracy. Do you know when was that debate? That was the debate calling a state of emergency to lock up a speaker.
Point of order. Point of order. 46-1. He's persisting in irrelevance.
Senator Roberts, we've raised 46-1 and I've upheld it on that same argument already. And I've also would like to remind you of 53-1B, where you're repeating yourself for a matter you have already said.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The other way that the PNM government controls, as we can see once again, is by, as the Honorable Minister of Finance said, it's the public servants. But we have seen public servants, especially in this Ministry of Finance under this minister, public servants who by convention should do their job, do their accounts, stay apolitical. We have seen them in the spotlight of the economy, sharing the views of the PNM and the existing government, and then receiving cushy positions in London. We have seen...
Point of order. 46-1. Imputing improper motives as well. 46-6.
Senator Roberts, 46-6. So first of all, Minister of Finance, 46-6 is imputing proper motives. Keep it relevant.
All I said, Mr. Vice President, is there was a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance.
46, point of order. 46-1, he's repeating his irrelevance.
Senator Roberts, you're starting to ramble around improper motives and repetition repeatedly. You have made that point already.
Which point, sir?
Can you please move on without repetition?
Thank you. I am making a point that has not been made. The point is that the PNM government has historically and in this incarnation tried to control every independent institution in our
point of order.
Constitutional Republic.
46-1, 46-6.
Senator Roberts, if you persist, you're going to be met with standing orders of same. I just ask that you create a new way to say it, or just move on within your presentation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. One thing is sure, that this is the people are listening out there, and the next point that will be made is that this PNM, for example, the Honorable Minister spoke about the central bank governor. But we have already seen, and he said today, that the central bank office, the governor, is an independent office. And so much so that there's a section under the Central Bank Act that the minister cannot get and made a request for information. And the central bank public servants and the officials there told the minister, stay in your corner. You cannot ask us for this information. But in November 2019 into December, the very same Minister of Finance instructed the central bank governor to stop cutting notes in 2 weeks, and the whole country was
point
put in that.
Order. 46-1, 46-6, 53-1B.
Senator Roberts, we've heard your point. Standing order upheld. Can you proceed?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. They say errata. The Honorable Minister of Public Administration said there's a process for errata. Well, they need a new word to describe what has occurred with this PNM, because errata is just a few little dollars here, missing here, paperwork there, not $3.9 billion. That could not be described as errata. That could be described as irrational, as wrong, as incompetent, as corrupt. They kept saying that the Auditor General refused to take meetings and take information. That is not true, and I correctly record, not on behalf, I don't need to defend the independent office, but when you attack someone, you must be able to correctly record. The Auditor General is on record as saying that she went and gave the Ministry of Finance officials every opportunity to show the substantive paperwork to back up the figure of $2.58 billion, and she did not see it yet. Furthermore, she said that the public officials at the Ministry of Finance and so on admitted that they can make no attempt to account for $780 million. They don't have paperwork, they don't know where it comes from, they don't know what it's about. But now the Auditor General is being attacked in the most vile manner by politicians, bringing an independent office into the Gael, and that we will not stand for. So we ask the PNM, where the money, where the $780 million, and that's on the revenue side. We're not even talking about the $1 billion of expenditure that the PNM spend, and they cannot account for a cent, and they're coming here to talk like Pontius Pilate inside of the Senate. That's what this is about. The PNM moves with a culture of fear. Even here, you can see they were trying to intimidate me, trying to jump up, but I don't scare very easily. So they could jump up whole day. But they use this culture of fear on independent offices, and our democracy is suffering. Because that is why we have, for the first time in our history, in my recollection, I have never heard of such an errata, on such ridiculous account ever being put forward by public servants who are qualified. And for the Minister of Finance to say, I was not aware, well, he needs to read the Constitution, because each ministry under the portfolio, the minister has the general direction and policy implementation of that ministry. Furthermore, accounts are not done all in one grab at the end in a rush. Accounts are fluid. They come through within the months, within a quarter, every month, quarterly, and so on. Is the Minister of Finance here admitting that he never took a look, never checked, never undertook to do his fiduciary responsibility to check the accounts moving forward as the quarters pass? Because we were just here in the Senate just a little while ago, and the Minister of Finance was coming to ask for an increase in the borrowing limit of $10 billion. Now, if the information and the accounts were wrong, how we know you need $10 billion to borrow? And the Minister of Works and Transport started to spend out the $10 billion before it borrowed. Do you recall the debate? Yeah. So how did the minister, the Honorable Minister of Finance, know that he needed and required an increase in borrowing limit of $10 billion when his account
Vice
was
President,
wrong,
standing
when
order.
No money there?
Standing Order 46-1. That is not the motion that is before us.
Senator Roberts, in your 7 remaining minutes.
7 minutes, sir?
Yes, I ask that you be reminded of Standing Order 46-1.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Could I have the 18 extra minutes that I was interrupted by the PNM colleagues, please? I know they don't want to hear the truth, but we must understand. This is an issue that requires truth, because we're hearing pre-action protocol. We're hearing about an Attorney General. And truth be told, when this Attorney General was appointed, I said a sigh of relief. I said, at least we have a senior counsel, an intelligent lawyer. My honorable colleague, Julie John, said, Anil, Senator Roberts, what are you talking about? Because I recall this honorable Attorney General, when he was much younger, while I was doing my homework, sitting in my mother's office, and she was trying to teach him and guide him. I am for once glad that she is not here to see his performance, because she would have, for the first time in her entire life, known that she had failed at something, because she is not impressed with how he is performing. But this Attorney General went on a warpath with an independent office holder with pre-action protocol letter. Why? To cover up their mistake, to cover up their money, no money, to cover up.
The 3(1)B, tedious repetition of the same point.
Standing order upheld. Senator Roberts, you have a few minutes.
Mr. Vice President, well, let me wrap it up like a roti as they cook the books and put some curry goat in it, because I am just going to show you and the honorable senators, the independent ones, because our country requires independence of thought. We enjoy the political guile. They could jump up there, that don't bother me, I could debate whole day. But that's because we are politicians and we are in the political guile, showing policy differences and debating. Independent senators are to pick through sense from nonsense, to eliminate the politics and get down to the truth. We are in a crisis for the first time in our history. This Ministry of Finance, led and run by the Honorable Minister, has failed to a degree that we have never seen before. But we need the truth to come out now, Mr. Vice President. We don't need 20 years to pass, as it was in the case with Bastio Pandey and Ishwa Galbaran Singh in the Privy Council. Because when PNM go after office holders, independent office holders, the truth takes a long time to come, only if you have money to go all the way up. When Lord Malcolm could state about this PNM, when they were interfering and trying to remove Satyarai Sharma, an independent...
Point of order. 46-1, 46-6. Irrelevant, imputing improper motives.
Standing orders upheld. Standing orders upheld.
Yes, sir. The relevance is that the PNM wants to control independent offices. The PNM wants to infiltrate independent offices. The PNM cannot interact with checks and balances.
Vice President,
because
Standing Order 53-4C.
Senator, I don't believe if you know that standing order, but you are not taking on the ruling of the chair, which is the reason why the debate is going so far. I asked in your last remaining 3 minutes that you keep it not just respectful, but respect the chair and respect the ruling. After I make a ruling, please don't go against it.
Vice President, I have not gone against any of your rulings. You have ruled, and I respect your rulings. So let me just wrap up in my 3 minutes that has been curtailed by some 15 minutes by these jumpy PNM who can't find the $3.6 billion that the people want to know, plus the $1 billion they expend. This could have been a simple motion if it were not for the PNM. This could have been an easy motion where everyone could have said, we need a little extra time, let's fix the accounts. But the PNM fired the first salvo. They draw first blood. They attack an independent officer, pelt them and fire missiles of pre-action protocol, come in the precincts and the safety of privilege in the parliament and hurl accusations, state falsehoods, and the record must be corrected. So this extension of time is to give the PNM more time to go and try to find documentation, not only for the 2.58 billion, but the 780 million and the 700,000 for a man up in Toko that they cannot find for. The Auditor General and independent institutions must be left alone. The PNM is totally incompetent. They are afraid of independence. They need people to take their side no matter how ridiculous and ludicrous their argument. Leave the Auditor General alone. We did not know who she was. We did not care to know. But just under the PNM, when our money is gone as much as the Prime Minister has gone all over the world, we need to find out where our money has gone. And the people call for the Auditor General to be upheld and for the accounts of Trinidad and Tobago to be made public and to table the report immediately and stop this cooking of the books.